Hey guys, it's me again. I know, 2 days in a row. What are you gonna do, right? I actually decided I think I'm going to try and do a couple of these national park disappearances um, for episodes because they're actually just really grabbing my attention and I'm very fascinated by them. My glasses are going to do the glare thing. I'm going to try and keep them. I mean, maybe I can do my like librarian look or something and keep them a little lower on my face. That might be able to help, but it'll look weird and I'll look old and weird. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I have no idea, but I hope you can get beyond it because I have a new story to tell you today. So, these national parks, I mean, they're fascinating. All I did was Google a bunch of them today, and holy crap, like there are disappearances everywhere, and the number just keeps growing. It's insane. How in the hell? And first of all, why do people go anywhere by themselves? In a national park? Like, haven't you heard enough stories at this point? Like, good God, people, always have a buddy. Always have a buddy. I don't even care. Like, dogs, I'm sorry, as much as you count for everything in the world, trust me, you're better than people. But like have a real person with you. And I know that they say at least have someone back, off the trails in your life that knows what you're doing and what the plan will be. That's not enough. I'm convinced of it now. So, having said that, I found this other story and it was actually in Yellowstone and where it took place. So, I I'm not like I'm not going to get too far down the rabbit hole with my alternative hypotheses about where these people could have ended up because the thing that's freaking me out and drawing me to these stories is the fact that these people disappear without any traces. And okay. Anyway, I'm going to take a look at this case with you and you tell me what you think. Okay. I may be overanalyzing stuff. I understand that. I have a very active imagination. So, I mean, I'm a writer. What do you expect? I got 4 books out there if you ever want to look. Robin Sterling, I'm just saying. Shameless plug. Okay, moving on. I promise to not do that too often. I've only done it a couple times since February when I started this channel. Okay, so the name for this one is Stuart Isaac, and he was 48 years old, my age. Okay, I know better than to hike alone, for goodness sakes. But anyway, so as I said, it happened in Yellowstone National Park on September 24th of 2010. And he drove, get this, 32 hours. Now, you saw the picture of him. He wasn't actually an avid hiker. He wasn't even known to be an outdoors person, like outdoorsy person. So the fact that he wanted to go and travel, he left a note for his family saying, I'm going to Yellowstone. So he told them where he was going, but didn't leave a reason or anything like that. And they were just very confused why all of a sudden he would want to go to Yellowstone. Well, I was confused too. So anyway, he went cross country, drove approximately, like I said, 32 hours, and then he was in his black 2009 Lexus sedan, which was later found at Craig Pass. Okay, and that's 8 miles east of Old Faithful, which is the most popular, place that people go to in Yellowstone. I mean, they freak out about it. It is a pretty cool thing to see. As you can see, I think I have pictures of either a picture or 2 pictures of it. I'm not sure. But this is um, right on the Grand Loop Road, the Yellowstone Grand Loop Road, okay, in Wyoming. Now, there were no hiking trails there, okay, where his sedan was found, which is odd. Like, I mean, again, though, he's not a professional hiker. He wasn't, proficient in, mapping out trails or anything. But if he had even one map or looked at a trailhead of any kind, or when you don't see a trailhead of any kind, you usually know, even if you're not experienced, that there's no trails to be on and you shouldn't be there. But I digress. Um, Isaac vanished right there. Nothing else ever found in regards to him. Now, the odd thing is um, that his keys were found inside it. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. He probably drove there to commit suicide. Another odd thing that could lead to that conclusion, it could, not necessarily, but it could lead to that conclusion, is that he called an old high school friend of his that he usually only texted and sent emails with. They weren't big on telephone calls, but they spent more than 2 hours talking on the phone, which was just, it was Matt. It was odd to this friend of his, which was Matt Sue Evans, and she just said that they didn't talk about anything in particular that made her alarms go off, other than the fact that he had called her. That was the strangest part about it, was that he called. So, I mean, take that for what you want, but I'm not sure if that leads to suicide or if it just leads to maybe somebody at 48 years old, perhaps a midlife crisis type deal, like just feeling like your life just needs some sort of meeting, and I don't know. I know that some places like national parks can be really meaningful to a lot of people for different reasons. And Old Faithful, I know for sure, has meant a lot to a lot of people, just because of the history of it and stuff. So, maybe he just, sorry, my knee. Sorry. I'm sitting in my room again, because I'm kind of quarantined here. Well, not quarantined, but I don't want to keep my mother up. She's sleeping. And, but anyway, so honestly, I think that, this story has layers to it, though. I don't want to just jump to the conclusion that suicide was the only intent. I mean, or end game, whatever you want to call it. I When there's no trace of someone in an area where their vehicle was found, how is that possible? I mean, it was like during a routine patrol, but on September 26th that his vehicle was found. And the thing is, as soon as the patrol saw his car, they knew something was wrong. They knew. They said, "This is, nobody leaves their car here." Like, nobody, because there were no other cars there, especially ones with car keys in the car. So that was odd as well. And there was a search by air and ground that started like almost immediately at that point. And the thing of it is, even to this day, from 2010 to now, we're looking at zero evidence. Zero. So, the fact that he wasn't an experienced hiker, and what motivated him still remains obviously unclear. It is notable, I think, that his vehicle was found on the Continental Divide. I find that interesting for some reason. And maybe I'm just kind of placing some more importance on something that doesn't necessarily need it. Um, or is, you know, just it's I might be seeing more than there really is, only because my mind just, it goes into all sorts of different directions, and I don't want to just isolate down on one thing. But another thing that was interesting is that the thing about excuse me, yeah, I think it's the Continental Divide, and it's near this Craig's Pass thing, is that, like I said, there's no trails there. So if he were to travel into the woods, it would have been an a hell of a trek, and he would have probably left behind scent or some sort of clothing, maybe ripped on things. I mean, because it's really, it's just not an easy, it's like basically you'd be cutting your own path, and that's just almost impossible to do if you don't even know what you're doing. Okay. um so anyway, I know that, there's alternatives to the usual suspects, and by suspects I don't mean like people, I mean conclusions that might satisfy people who really just need to tie something off, feel some closure, feel some satisfaction about an investigation, sort of just having a neat ending or something. Um, but I'm just looking at more, I guess, what would be considered strange, weird, out of the ordinary possibilities like I am always looking at, because I just don't think that looking at the normal stuff is something that we need to limit ourselves to anymore, considering what we now know about what we've encountered here on Earth. You know, I just think that we need to expand our minds, as I've said, only like a trillion times. But, you know, again, I say if Isaac committed suicide close to where his vehicle was, then where the hell's his body? Okay. Where and why hasn't any other sign of him been found? And by that, I mean, there's no evidence that he was ever there. There's no scent from him. There was like the dogs didn't find. I mean, you have track dogs that are looking for him, that are trained to pick up any little scent. And this was like a search that was done immediately, and nothing was found. You tell me, like, what do you think could have happened to him? As of now, there's still no answers. And I think everyone who goes missing is worth finding. And no matter how or why, it doesn't matter. It's just they're worth finding or finding out what could have possibly happened. Um, it's the not knowing that probably just keeps driving me crazy and forward with stuff like this, because I just don't think it's fair to leave something like that dangling out there for the sake of the families. And hopefully they've been able to find peace with the amount of time that's gone by, and they've been able to move past it or move on in some way. But you know honestly, I don't know. I can't imagine what it must be like to live through something with that kind of loss, no body to bury or anything like that, no answers, always wondering that the possibilities are endless. What could have happened? Is he still out there? Why wasn't he found? Why hasn't he been found? Why hasn't anybody else found him? Stuff like that. I don't know. Anyway, I would love to hear what you think. Again, I'll probably start, kind of going through the national parks a little bit just to see these cases that really just pique my interest. But I hope in the meantime that you are all staying happy and healthy. And I hope you stay weird and take care. Until I see you next time. Bye.